Imagine a world where the year 476 AD passed not with the whimper of an empire's end, but with the roar of its resurgence. What if the Roman Empire never fell? This isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a doorway to an entirely different human story, spanning millennia. In our timeline, the deposition of Romulus Augustulus ushered in centuries of fragmentation, conflict, and the slow, arduous birth of modern nations. But in this alternate reality, the Roman administrative genius, its advanced engineering, and its military might continued unchecked. Picture Europe, North Africa, and the Near East not as the mosaic of cultures we know, but as a vast, unified entity, a singular Roman imperium. The countless scientific texts, philosophical treatises, and engineering marvels of the classical world would have been preserved, meticulously studied, and continuously expanded upon. Imagine the Library of Alexandria, not tragically lost, but growing year by year, its archives eventually digitized onto advanced early computing systems by the 10th or 11th century. This unbroken intellectual lineage could have propelled a technological revolution 1,000 years ahead of our own, with Roman engineers transforming rudimentary steam engines into powerful industrial machines, powering factories where legions of citizens produce goods for a global Roman market. Linguistically, the world would sound remarkably different. Latin, or its direct, highly evolved descendant, would be the undisputed lingua franca, the language of law, commerce, and science across continents. The Romance languages we know, French, Spanish, Italian, would likely be regional dialects of a greater imperial tongue, their distinct identities subsumed into a dominant Roman culture. This cultural monolith would not stop at language. Roman law, Roman architecture, and Roman civic ideals would form the bedrock of global society. Imperial expansion would continue, albeit perhaps more subtly through trade and cultural assimilation than outright conquest. Roman ships, far more advanced than their historical counterparts, would have charted global trade routes, potentially encountering the Americas not with hesitant exploration, but with the deliberate intention of integrating new provinces into the vast imperium. Fast forward to our present day in this alternate timeline. The year is 2026. What does a 2,000-year-old unbroken Roman Empire look like? We might see gleaming megacities adorned with classical Roman aesthetics, where high-speed maglev trains run along the routes of ancient Roman roads, connecting prefectures across vast distances. Towering skyscrapers, intricately designed with classical columns and friezes, would dominate skylines from what we know as London to Cairo. The Roman legions, far from being relics of the past, would be an elite, technologically sophisticated fighting force, clad in advanced power armor, maintaining order and projecting power across a unified world, and perhaps even into the stars. But this grand vision also carries a profound weight. A single dominant power, uninterrupted for 2 millennia, might inevitably lead to a stifling lack of diversity and innovation. Without the competitive pressures of rival kingdoms and independent thought that spurred our Renaissance, Reformation, and Enlightenment, would dissent be tolerated? Would political and social freedoms, as we understand them, ever have evolved? Religious pluralism might be limited, with state-sanctioned faiths dominating. The cost of eternal stability could be a profound stagnation of new ideas, a society so perfectly ordered that it leaves little room for individual liberty or cultural expression beyond the imperial norm. Imagine the absence of distinct national identities. No French, no Germans, no English, no Egyptians as we know them. Instead, everyone is a Roman citizen, bound by a common, ancient heritage. While this unity would eliminate many of the conflicts that plagued our history, it might also extinguish the vibrant tapestry of human experience born from such diversity. The Pax Romana, extended indefinitely, might ironically create a world where progress in certain humanistic dimensions slows to a crawl, even as technological might soars. This eternal empire, a marvel of organization and engineering, could ultimately become a gilded cage, leaving us to ponder if the tumultuous, diverse, and often difficult path of our own history, with its rise and fall of empires, was not, in fact, the more fertile ground for the full flourishing of the human spirit.